Yeah, great to be here. So my name's Kleinerman. I've been working in this field of human behavior, helping people in the forms of relationships, attracting healthy relationships with themselves, with others for the last 15 years. And around being magnetic, it's a quality that when it's felt deep inside, people just feel that. There's a deep knowing that comes with that. So I worked a lot, especially with men, probably 70, 80% of the clients I work with around the world are male bodies. I run retreats and groups. Last year I was teaching in over 15 countries. This year, about the same. So really teaching all over the world, supporting humans to come back into their heart and really be able to attract the relationship they want in their life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Aaron. Aaron also is an author of a wonderful book on embodiment. And that book is very, very popular. Everybody I know absolutely loves it. And maybe we can talk a little bit later about the book when we more formally present ourselves. All right. So everybody is ready. Let's get to our slides. And by the way, I also want to say that the way this is going to flow is this. We're going to open up the topic. We're going to share with you what we know, what flows through us. And at a certain point, there will be a possibility for you to take the next step with us. And also we will open later on the masterclass for questions and answers that we will answer based on more than probably 55 years, accumulated years of our experience working with tons and tons, thousands of people. Okay. All right. So let's go to the slides. All right. So yeah, maybe Caitlin and Ashira, you can kind of close your videos. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Okay, great. So the topic of our webinar today is how to be irresistibly magnetic to high quality people and attract your ideal match within 90 days. This webinar is for growth-oriented, successful, evolved single people who are from about 34 to 59 years old. And the leaders of the masterclass are love and relationship transformational coaches, Aaron Kleinerman and Luba Evans. That's me. And we are going to show you how to find long-lasting love this year. So as I said before, this fast-paced class is for decisive, evolved, successful people who desire magnetic chemistry, emotional closeness, and unconditional love with a soulmate partner. So if this is what you desire, please put what is it that attracted you the most about this masterclass into the comments, because we definitely want to hear from you. We also want to hear where you're coming from. And so just put that into the chat, and our helpers will be able to read all of this. Okay. So we are here, beloveds, to create not just relationships, not just companionships, but something that is so much more exciting. And we call it inspired partnerships. And what is important about this inspired type of partnership, there are 4 cornerstones of this type of partnership. Number 1 is that you are attracting and aligning with a person who shares your vision about your soul mission, who shares your vision about what you're here to do. And so when you get together, you don't just hang out, you don't just enjoy coffee in Italy, but you are actually co-creating something exciting, something of substance, and something that is serving the world. Number 2, we become heart guardians to each other. And I want you to pay attention to the terminology here. So instead of owning each other's heart, so to speak, and putting each other into chains, we come into a commitment to hold each other's heart safe and sacred, like guardians of earth. Number 3, when 2 people get together who are truly aligned, they also become success catalysts for each other, which means that things start to flourish in their life even more. So they get activated from each other. And number 4 is when 2 people who are evolved get together, they also can serve as passion catalysts for each other. And we're going to talk more about it, how feminine masculine magnetism contributes to this polarity and to this exciting dynamics, and how actually conscious and sacred sexuality, which is practiced intentionally with the alignment and harmony between soul, heart, and sexuality, how that plays into this exciting vision. Okay, and Erin, I would love to hear also your vision of that. What is that exciting next level of relationship that is true for you? What are you striving for?
Well, for me, the next level relationship happens when two people fully know themselves, and they know themselves as all four of these pieces you're bringing in. They know their inner success. They know the passion alive in their heart. They have this part that exudes out into the world with connection, with aliveness. And through that, they actually have the capacity to attract, because they know themselves, someone of similar resonance. But if someone's not doing their own inner work, they're not the co-visionary and the co-creator for their own life. And they're looking for someone to complete aspects that they don't know inside themselves. So really, to find your ideal match, it's more and more about knowing deeply who you are within. And when that catalyst is alive, when that inspiration flows from inside of you, then you have the capacity to attract a similar resonance. I felt this many different times through my life, and beautiful relationships that I've leaned into and learned so much from, and had beautiful love and chemistry flowing.
Thank you so much. And that also reminds me of something that we need to mention, which is true intimacy. And so when we are guarding each other's heart, true intimacy, transparency, ability to express your feelings, and ability to ask for what you need, ability to set boundaries, and ability to respect each other's differences is also definitely a part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, deep mutual respect. And again, that mutual respect comes from someone knowing who they are inside themselves. And then as a result, that magnetism is what attracts someone else of similar resonance to them.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So I guess this is a very big vision. And our vision is for more of those kind of partnerships in the world, so that people actually were also available for other kind of soul work, and to really create exciting projects together, and serve the improvement, and hold love sacred. Okay, so what you're going to learn on this webinar, number one, you're going to learn the secret language that evolved people use, that sounds over the head to materialistic mainstream people, but makes people on your level intensely desire to have you in their lives. So that language is different. And I can't wait to share that with you, how important it is to know exactly how to come in and create that sacred space of relating with somebody who is high quality and growth oriented. You're also going to learn the way to communicate so that other attractive people notice you and feel compelled to deeply connect with you. So if this is something that you want, please, yes, that's me, put it into the comments. You're also going to learn something so exciting, which is we call magnetic communications. And that is the way to talk, flirt, and charm your way into a fun, effortless first date, and then into a committed relationship, all leading to a lifelong romantic partnership. Again, if you want to learn that, please put yes, I want to learn how to flirt, how to charm my way into the first date and everything else. Okay. You will also learn something very exciting, which is what events to attend, what places to go to, and where to hang out, so that your soulmate just happens to bump into you in the right time. So of course, there's a little bit more to it, but we are definitely going to uncover something very exciting and unique that we have to offer you today. All right. Now, women are also going to learn how to cut through competition for that attractive, successful, emotionally available man. And some women right now might be even wondering, do those men really exist? Erin, what's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. I think there's a place that women find that they think those men don't exist. And the more that you're emotionally available for that, then that's again what's reflected and what's attracted into your world.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Women will also learn how to turn on your gorgeous feminine radiance, no matter
Mhm.
your age, your weight, or how you look right now, because truly the radiance comes from inside. It comes from inspiration, it comes from spirit, it comes from magnetism. You're going to learn that today. You're going to learn the 3 traits that make an evolved man decide if you can be a true life partner. So he courts you and commits to you in the way you deserve. And I hope that Aaron will greatly contribute to that because he knows so much about evolved men.
Mhm.
You will also learn how to glow on the first date in a way that makes a man feel enraptured by your presence, inviting you to more dates. So if you had an issue with getting second date, this is going to be real gold for you. You will also learn the way to relax and unleash your feminine magnetism, activating his desire to basically go after you and court you.
Mm.
And you will learn how to make commitment a natural, easy thing for a man so that transitioning to exclusivity and partnership just happens without worry or effort. And nowadays, it is just so important to know how to navigate that space. Men will learn. Aaron, do you want to talk about it or do you want me to take the
Yeah,
lead?
I'll go through it for sure. Man, you're going to learn how to create a powerful masculine charisma that draws women's eyes and hearts to you without you having to say a thing. This charisma is a confidence that exudes from your being. It's a part that when you walk into a room, that charisma is felt, and that charisma is felt, and that actually creates this meeting between a positive pole and a negative pole that exemplifies and opens up, and that's just felt from the feminine in a way that maybe you've never experienced before. You're also going to look why looks and money are not as important as you think, and how to maximize your magnetic attractiveness in just 2 steps. I hear this often from men. They don't feel like they're not, blessed with the right looks in this life, and they don't have enough money. And actually, what I hear consistently, I'm going to exemplify quite clearly in these 2 steps that women actually want. And when they feel these things, looks and money actually go way beyond that, and they can feel a deeper attraction that's there. How to spot the woman in the room who are ready for a deep connection with you, so you can avoid the feeling of awkwardness and rejection. Yeah, the truth is it can be challenging receiving rejections. It's difficult. I'm going to support you to know how to move through that rejection, to turn it back into them actually taking care of themselves and you celebrating who you are, and also how to read the signs in the body language of where openness is so that you can increase your confidence as a man. I'll also talk about the secret to projecting your true values so women know the amazing things you have to offer and are receptive from the first smile. Your true value, it comes from a deep place within that, again, is felt through the smile, through the gift, through your essence that comes from the gift of presence. We'll talk a lot more into that as well. The secret gaps in your vibe, body language, and energy that might be scaring away the best women. There's some uncomfortable things that you might be doing as a man that you're probably not even aware of. And so part of what I support men to do is turning the unconscious patterning to become conscious. So when you notice yourself beginning to do that, you can draw new patterning into your life that actually creates more attraction and more of the women that you want to draw into you. And the bonus is this invisible language women speak when they are ready to take it to the next step. Knowing this invisible language was going to help you from being rejected. So we'll get to this towards the end, and super excited to share this tip with you.
Yeah, I am also so excited to hear your wisdom on all of that, Aaron. Okay, beloved. So what is going to happen? What happens when you become magnetic? Number 1, you move from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. So you start having a choice of partners and you feel confident, and you don't have to feel awkward anymore when you're talking to people. You attract great people, and not only great people, but also incredible opportunities into your life. And as a result, you feel loved, respected, and desired. So if you want all of that, make sure to stay till the very, very end of the webinar, because when you are not magnetic, and what happens when your magnetism is repressed, like honestly with many, many people, here is what happens. People might ignore you, and you might even feel invisible. So if this is something that's happening to you right now, please put "that's me" into the comments. When you don't have the full access to your natural magnetism, you might feel like you will never have that attractive, amazing, high quality partner. So your hope might be kind of like low on that. Number 3, you might feel that you have to settle for less. So again, if this is something that's happening to you or happened to you before, please put yes into the comment. If you had to accept too many things that maybe you shouldn't have accepted just because you were afraid that otherwise you're going to be alone. So this is what happens when the magnetism and aliveness is not full. Number 4, when your magnetism is low, it feels like you have to work really, really hard to achieve anything, to make somebody like you. For example, maybe you feel like you have to really entertain them. Maybe you feel like you have to overgive. Maybe you feel like you need to solve their problems. So all of that happens when the magnetism is low. Number 5, you might have social anxiety and feel awkward when you're talking to somebody that you like. So sometimes it's easy to talk to somebody that you don't care about so much, but the moment you really feel attracted, all of a sudden you don't know what to say. Number 6, when your magnetism is low, you kind of like feel awkward and don't know what to say or what to text next. And if you are, for example, doing public speaking, like Aaron and I, we are doing public speaking all the time. And when the magnetism is low, it's also pretty challenging and difficult to speak to a group of people, to speak to 100,000, 5,000 people. But when your magnetism is high, Aaron, right? It's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 7. So you tend to attract wrong people. And we're going to talk more in details about that, the kind of people that you attract when the magnetism is low. So as I said before, make sure you stay till the very end of the webinar to get all of that, because we don't want you to be in any of those 7 situations. All right, so this is just some of the clients that found love, and not just love, but really, really extraordinary relationships, and also received tools how to make those relationships better and better every day, and how to really enjoy each other. So now we come to a slightly more formal part. Who are we and why you can trust us? We're just going to fly through that, and many of you already know who I am, but I would like to introduce you more to Aaron. So as a coach, through my courses, direct in-person retreats, workshops, and various seminars and online courses, I've helped more than 3,000 people to get into the best relationship of their lives. I'm also an international speaker, and I'm a presenter at Harvard University on this subject. I've consulted various public and private clients like United Nations, Smithsonian, and CNN. And I share stage with some incredible people like Susan Somers, Marianne Williamson, and Jack Canfield, who actually was one of my coaches. You might know him as the author of the book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, but some people know that he's one of the most powerful coaches on the planet. So it's been 20 years for me of empowering people, more than 350 in-person retreats and events. And I also want to tell you that our clients, people we work with, include stars. They include artists, CEOs, founders of different companies, master coaches, psychotherapists. We have a woman now in our program whose direct boss is the President of the United States. We had superior judges. We had some faculty from really, really prominent institutions like Esalen Institute in California. So this work really is appreciated by people who tried everything and that did not work for them. So sometimes I'm known as the last coach that you're going to need, and we're definitely really, really standing behind our students and clients and fighting for their success. So here is Aaron. Aaron, would you like to present yourself? And I hope you can see it here.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been teaching and working in this field of human behavior psychology for the last 15 years. I have a master's degree in spiritual psychology. Yeah, I'd say the gift that I bring is a full capacity to read through people's bullshit, to bring them into an alignment of who they really are. My background before working in this field was in a maritime military context, so I'm a pretty straight shooter, and I navigate through a lot of different worlds. Too, in my early 20s, was speaking and teaching from stage with all of some of the greatest speakers and people in this field for a long time. I stepped away for about 3, 4 years to kind of reclaim who I was in the world. And when I came back, it's really when I merged into this field of, you could say, relationships and tantra and meeting the real essence of the human experience. So I work for about 4 or 5 different organizations. This year, I have over 25 groups and retreats on my calendar. And I'm really, I'm supporting people to get out of their own way, to remember the love that's inside of them, to then be able to attract that in another. And a lot of the one-on-one clients I worked with are CEOs and deep inside large organizations, and basically they reach out to me as the person that they can have the conversations they can't have with anyone else in their life. So especially when it comes to more of the personal, heart oriented, sexual oriented things that people often have shame, fear, and guilt around. So this is really the spaciousness of the container and the relationship that I build with people, to see who they really are beyond all of their labels and facades, to help them remember the essence, and especially for men to attract and to become the man that they know they're meant to be, so they attract the partner that they're here to share their lives with.
Amazing, Aaron. And what excited me also so much is that beyond being this agent of change and such a powerful facilitator, that you also were a ship's captain. And that is just so unbelievable, this ability to integrate those different parts, being a leader and being a captain, and having such a strong masculine presence, and also having this charming feminine presence that just makes everything ever so more magnetic. So yeah, and I have, of course, personally seen how Aaron magnetizes so many people in different events. It's a very, very easy for him. Okay, you are going to be getting a gift, 13 text messages, which will help you communicate in a magnetic way. So again, stick till the end of the webinar and you're going to get your wonderful gift. This is going to be like a free PDF, something that sometimes, we offer actually for money, but for you today is going to be totally free on the house. Okay, beloved. So are you ready to dive into the topic? And if you're ready, please say yes. And I want to see how excited you are. And start writing your questions if you want, because we're going to take care of everyone tonight. Okay, magnetism blockers. So let's go through that. And what we are going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about each blocker. And then I am going to ask Aaron to also comment. So if somebody has an immediate question, you can raise your hand, and Dashira, our helper, is going to reach out to you personally, and she's going to get your question. All right, so the first blocker to magnetism is undeserving mind, when you don't feel that you deserve to be loved. That is based on what we call the love blueprint, which needs to be healed. Love blueprint is your relationship with love itself. So as you were growing up, possibly you did not get exactly the love that you needed from your parents. Usually it comes from that period of life. And possibly your parent was absent or unstable or very critical or emotionally unavailable, or maybe like really strangling you with love that you kind of like did not want. And so what happens then is that we start to associate love with pain. And when there is this association of love and pain that becomes deeply imprinted on our subconscious mind, that subconscious mind tends to seek out the same in the world. So you would be attracting people who are basically going to hurt you in different ways when your love blueprint has that kind of energy of entanglement of love and pain. Aaron, would you like to add anything on this subject?
Yeah, what happens on a bioelectric magnetic level inside of our DNA is that we're attracting and seeking the partners that are trying to support us to remember the love that we really are. But the blueprint that Luba is speaking into is the feeling that I'm sure many of you have had of continually attracting a very similar partner just with a different name. And then you're hitting your head against the same brick wall and you're like, why is this happening to me again? And why is this there? And so part of the piece of clearing through is wiring that blueprint at a young age so that your magnetism is actually then attracting that which you are stepping into, not as much as there's always going to be levels of healing, but not as much as the deep repressed healing of the things that you didn't move through as a young child. So really the blueprint, as you begin to shift and reorient it into your day-to-day life, then you as a being become extremely magnetic in attracting more and more of what your ideal scenes and visions are drawing you towards.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aaron, for also mentioning the neuro aspect of that. That really requires deep rewiring, which means working deeply with subconscious mind, which is exactly what we do. I also want to say that you cannot attract what you think you do not deserve. So deserving mind is very, very important. Number two, what is blocking the magnetism is your repressed masculine or feminine energy. And what's interesting is that it works for men and women. So Aaron, would you like to speak about that?
Yeah, so inside, if you're listening to this and you're in a female body, there's a masculine energy inside of you. If you're in a male body, there's a feminine energy inside of you. And if this energy is repressed or suppressed in any way, then the results really is that you're attracting the projection of what you don't know from inside. So eventually you might find this, beautiful connection that happens initially with somebody, but then through time, if you don't know yourself as whole, you're eventually going to build layers of resentment, of frustration with the individual that's representing the expression of what you don't know inside. So if your inner union, your masculine and feminine inside of you are not talking and speaking and communicating with each other, then it's extremely difficult to attract and call in a healthy relationship. And this is really a vital piece to the work that I do in the world and understanding masculine feminine dynamics. So when we understand duality, we can then meet at the merging at the heart where we transcend duality and we step into divine union.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that makes my heart so happy. And also, just to give you an example, beloveds, when a man, for example, does not have his own feminine, he's going to be desperate for somebody else's, and his energy is going to be a little bit grabby, which, as Aaron I'm sure will agree, is definitely not conducive to charm somebody when you feel kind of needy for another person's energy. When you are a man and your masculine is repressed, also most likely you will be kind of attracting females that are going to start kind of dominating you, and you might not love that or want that. If you're a woman and your feminine is repressed, it's going to be very difficult for you to attract a stand-up, successful, powerful man, because you'll have a tendency to stay in your head and be in the friend zone. If you're a woman and your masculine is repressed, then again, you will be relying on somebody else's masculine. So when you don't have your own inner protector inside, it's going to be kind of difficult for you to really come into an equal, evolved partnership with a man. So I totally agree that in some way we are attracting what we already have inside. So it's very, very important to have that in the marriage of your masculine, feminine, and your masculine has to be in love with your feminine. and your feminine has to truly admire and respect your inner masculine. And so that is a beautiful union. All right. Number 3, leading with nice girl or nice guy kind of mentality. Aaron, what do you have to say about that?
Well, there's this illusion that we think we want to be, always a nice guy and the nice girl that takes care of things and is compassionate and caring. And those are beautiful attributes to have. But at the same time, if we don't know like our kind of wild, crazy one inside, and we're not able to express that, then eventually that nice girl, the nice guy hat kind of wears away the attraction. So there's a part of us that both wants to meet someone who can compassionately hold us, as well as, take us to God and to ravish us and consume us, both masculine male bodies and female bodies. And so the when you're leading only with that energy, sometimes that magnetic part that's like, ooh, there's no mystery. Like there's an attraction in the mystery. There's a place of, okay, I'm going to be in my space holder that can hear and love everything. But if you're only there and you're not like leading into this, polarized, mysterious connection, which actually creates this erotic charge, then eventually that's going to block a deep chemistry to happen between two.
Oh, well said, Aaron. Loved it so much. If I could lick the screen right now, I would. Those words are so precious. And that also reminds me, of how we dance tango. So when we dance, if somebody's hand is like always just nice, there is no tension. To hold the dance, there needs to be this dynamics that we are present with each other. We can go this way or that way. Sometimes we can both dominate maybe and surrender, but there is a lila between us. There is this incredible inter-exchange of all kinds of energies, and that makes it dynamic and exciting in the life. Also, nice girl, nice guy means that your boundaries are probably weak and you probably cannot speak about your needs. And what that takes us to is to be taken for granted, number 1, sometimes to be cheated on. Number 3 is that when we repress our real feelings, they, don't go anywhere. They just accumulate. And sometimes it results in resentment towards your partner and loss of sexual desire for the partner. So we are all about, being transparent, being real, being intimate with each other, and dropping that nice girl, nice guy attitude, which is all about getting approval, from other people and letting other people to be authority on you. Number 4, here we come to Aaron's big topic, lack of embodiment. That is a huge magnetism blocker. Aaron, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, especially we live in a world where a lot of people love to communicate only at the mind level. And, communicating at the mind, it can be fun. It's great to have an intellectual match with somebody. But if you're not able to get under the belly of that, you're not able to get literally out of the mind into the body, into the feeling, into the expression, into the aliveness, into this, magnetic pull that just exudes out to dance in the rain and to sing in the shower, and just to be this embodiment of pleasure, of connection, of aliveness. Because what's attractive, what people are attracted to, is when they see, they're like, there's something about that person. They're alive and they're juicy and they're ecstatic, ecstatic. You'll see behind us is ecstatic dating. It's like, how do I be ecstatic in my life and show up with this vibrant feeling of totally alive, fully grounded, but fully in my body? And when I can bring that embodiment into an experience with other, it lights them up to do more of the same. And it's like, oh, we can play together. Oh, this is fun. Yes, I want to play. I want to experience the fullness of life and not just, and this patterning that happens from only being in the mind. So when we get out of the head into the body, there's a whole mystery of connection that happens, both in our playful, young, youthful selves, as well as our erotic, enjoyable, juicy, connections that happen in the bedroom as well.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And also, I want to mention that what's also so exciting about this is that it has nothing to do with your physical age. And it also has nothing to do with how you look physically according to some kind of Barbie index or standard. Embodiment is really about having your spirit penetrate your whole body. It's about that beautiful marriage of your body and your soul. And so a body without the soul is uninteresting, just like a salad without a dressing. And so when there is consciousness in the body, when there is aliveness in the body, that's what makes everything so divine. And so we just love this work. Okay, number 5.
Absolutely. I just want to say 3 of the sexiest, juiciest, most alive women I know. One just turned 70, one is turning 76, and one is turning 80 this year. And they're so alive with life force and sexuality. So if you're listening to this, whatever your age, like this applies to everyone. Those 3 women are such a walking example of what's possible in this life around the field of sexuality and embodiment. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much for that. I also want to speak to men on that, because there is a lot of discrimination happening towards men based on their height, for example. And I personally feel very passionate against discrimination of any kind, especially this one. And again, when you have that embodiment, your height does not matter. Your age does not matter. How much hair you have on your head does not matter. It's really about that charisma that you exude. Number 5, another magnetism blocker is lack of communication skills. All right, Aaron, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, our capacity to communicate clearly, efficiently, and effectively, both when we're first meeting as well as when we're in a second or third date stage. It's like, am I expressing from the I? Am I expressing from a state of deeply knowing myself, or am I generalizing because I'm uncomfortable? I see a lot of people, they generalize about topics and conversations. No, it's really sexy is when someone talks about how they're feeling, what's arriving for them, not in like a please help me kind of place where it's like, but like a place of, hey, this is what's happening inside of me. And that requires certain communication skills that not everyone has. And when you can take those communication skills, this is what actually builds safety into deeper relating. It's what helps people want to go to the next step, because they know they have someone. If shit comes up, they're not just going to run away. They have the skills necessary to meet in the place of maybe disagreement and whatever may arise. And the truth is, as relationships build, sometimes there's differing opinions. And so being able to have healthy communication skills is necessary to keep and maintain a healthy magnetic polarity inside of relating.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And this also reminds me of communication from the heart, communication from the open heart, because one heart awakens another heart. And when we just stay in the head and again, talk about general things, how was your day? Oh, that was great. My day was great, something like that. That really doesn't make another person feel anything. But when we communicate from the heart, that's when we fall in love. That's when magic happens. That's when miracles happen. And so we're going to give you much more teaching on that, on that kind of magnetic communication and special language that evolved people use, as we've promised in the beginning. Number 6 is lack of support. And I just want to say a little bit about that before I ask Aaron. So many people find that it is difficult to maintain the faith that it is possible to have those evolved relationships when they are in isolation. And so it is so important for us to support each other, to be in communities, to be in training programs, to be in spaces where we can empower each other. Because the truth is, beloveds, when we get together, our power and our consciousness, our love multiplies. And so Aaron and I, we experience it so many times in different events all over the world all the time. And we know how important it is to have this support. And Aaron, what do you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think there's a humility and a humbleness that comes when we're consciously open to seeking support, especially when it comes in the place of love and relationships. Because the reality, I don't know almost any people that had healthy examples of relating at a young age, or that was something that they learned when they were in primary school. So, the place of like learning what you might not know, you might have had aspects of having flavors of it, but when you can surrender into different containers and groups and spaces where you can receive support, you can, potentially even support others along the way, but you're open to being able to receive feedback for what's not working in your life. And if you're listening right now and you're realizing, maybe my world of relating and dating isn't necessarily working to the degree in which I want, then being able to ask for support, it requires a bit of an ego death, but it's part of the evolution of who we are as a species to be able to ask for support in that way.
Thank you so much. And also, especially if you found yourself overgiving a lot in the past, opening to receive and actively opening to receive is already an act of faith. And that alone already can change who you are, because then you're opening that basket, that container that can receive from the world, and you're giving a signal to the world. All right, that's it. I am ready. Take me there. Okay, beautiful. So those are the magnetism blockers. And what happens really deeply in the space of undeserving mind is when we are feeling not good enough, not good enough. So most people in the world, I'll just reveal that secret to you, are feeling not good enough to be fully loved, or not good enough to charge, for example, for their services, or not good enough to go after their biggest dream, or not good enough to have it all. So when we do have that magnetism, and when we do have this deserving mind, we walk around feeling my presence is a blessing to the people. Why is that? Because I'm the channel of love and light, and because I'm working on myself, and because I am purifying from negativity, and I am dedicated to love. So you become a blessing for people who are around you instead of feeling not good enough. One of the indications that you might have an undeserving mind is this idea that you have to settle for less. While when you do have a fully deserving mind, the inner alignment is, I deserve to love and be loved fully, just the way I am. I am unique. My imperfections are perfect. And I am adorable. And so when we start feeling this way, I am adorable, the world starts to conspire to make you feel even more adorable. Isn't that right, Aaron?
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Okay, beautiful. So when we have an undeserving mind and our love blueprint needs a healing, we are in a space, in a state of mind where we become this, or we are this person who looks for approval from the outside world. When we are in the space of deserving mind, we feel like sovereign queen, sovereign king, who is the final authority on himself or herself. And that is just so important, to be in this sovereignty. And I want to say that in some way, in the beginning of this journey towards sovereignty, it might be a little bit uncomfortable, because if you're used to be blaming some situation in the past, or you used to be blaming circumstances or possibly previous trauma, that, oh my God, okay, because of that, I cannot be happy. When you become sovereign, you really become a master of your destiny. When you become sovereign, that blaming has to go. And in the beginning, you really need support also from the community and from trainers, from coaches, to support you on that journey. But when you do become sovereign, and you come and present yourself to a potential partner, you come in as a full package. And that is just so attractive. Aaron, do you have anything on this?
Yeah, sovereignty is sexy. Our capacity to be sovereign in our decision making helps somebody respect each other. And when there's mutual respect, then there's a place of like, oh, I can lean into this individual because they know themselves, and they know that if something's not feeling right, then they're going to choose not just to stay because they don't want to make you upset, but actually they're willing to speak up when things get uncomfortable. And, that capacity is more of a healthy masculine trait of like penetrating through bullshit, penetrating through the stuff that arises and trusting into the sovereignty that they experience within each other. And that requires letting go of needing to have approval from someone else and really owning, longing, and connecting to the deep wisdom that's inside of you.
Beautiful. And it is totally opposite from being codependent. So when we are codependent, we might say things like, you're my everything, or we might say things like, I cannot live without you. That's codependency, beloveds. But when we are in sovereignty, we have choices. We really are choosing things. So when you're with someone who is sovereign, that is sexy because they have choices and they chose you. And so that is just so exciting and sexy and dynamic. So when our love blueprint needs a healing, when it is still damaged and love is entangled with pain and we have an undeserving mind, feeling not good enough, here are the partners that we are attracting. So the first one is vampires. So if anybody attracted a vampire, please put yes, that's me. Energetic vampires who are sucking your blood, sucking your energy, making you feel disempowered, making you lose energy. We can also call that toxic kind of relationships. Possibly those people will be accusing you of things that you have nothing to do with, or possibly those people would be gaslighting you, or possibly those people would not be present with you. Narcissists, if anybody is attracted to narcissists, please put yes, that's me. Toxic, traumatized people, sometimes unreliable people. And you might actually be attracted to that somebody is unreliable because it's kind of exciting to watch. Oh my God, do they love me? Do they not love me? Oh my God. And there is this adrenaline that can be generated if this is something that you're used to from the past or from your childhood. And one of the most popular attractions, beloveds, is attraction to emotionally unavailable people, because there is this challenge. Oh my God, you know what? This person is emotionally unavailable, but I'm going to turn them around. And so what happens is that instead of coming into co-creation and beautiful interplay, you are choosing yourself a project that you want to save or rescue. So this is what happens, right? Or sometimes you attract controlling people, or you're not attracting anyone at all. Aaron, what comes to mind for this?
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to all those things, and it's really just recognizing, when you can notice what you're attracting in and begin to learn the gift of what each of those situations are, then there's a shift and a turnaround where you no longer are attracting that because you're stepping into a new dimensionality of your being. But if you're frustrated, you're like, I keep attracting the same thing, I don't want that anymore. It's basically like trying to fight with the universe. The universe is giving you this situation probably to support you to grow, expand, and evolve. But instead, you're trying to deny it, push it away. And it's only going to keep giving you there until the medicine of that situation is present. When you can recognize the medicine, learn from it, and expand from it, then the universe doesn't have to give you that to you anymore. And, the other piece that, I want to speak into is that sometimes it's easier attracting someone that's emotionally unavailable, because then it's like, oh, I don't have to go deep here. I can just do this right on the surface, and it's yeah, I don't, nothing more is required of me. And there's a lot of people that only want to relate at that level. But if you're one of those individuals listening and you want deep committed partnership, then it's being willing to notice the shadow projections and patterns that you're attracting that's keeping you from going deeper into a relationship.
Thank you so much for that. And so I want to invite our audience to think about the kind of patterns that they have encountered when you look back at your lovers, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. Just see if there is something similar, like some kind of similar traits that they shared. And that's exactly what Aaron is saying. The universe is trying to tell you something. And what the universe is trying to tell you is that there is a part of you that you still don't love. There is a part of you that's still in some way, possibly subconsciously, looking for a challenge or punishment, or just wants to heal that previous trauma and finding objects that make it possible. And so that definitely is a part of knowing yourself and relating. But there is also a moment in your life when you can shift from that. And once you truly fall in love with your own self and your perfections and imperfections and develop that deserving mind, you're going to start attracting givers. You're going to start attracting people who are driven by purpose, who are not some kind of projects, lost projects that you have to rescue. You're going to start attracting and being attracted to people who are actually emotionally available, and they can speak about their feelings, and they can truly love somebody else, which, by the way, not everyone at every point in time is able to do. And you're going to be attracting attractive people. So that is just so exciting. So the question is, why are you not attracting the right partners right now? So I want to invite you to look through some very popular disempowering beliefs that your subconscious mind could be carrying right now. And one of the beliefs, as we said before, is I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be loved. So for women, very often it's I'm not beautiful enough. And I'm sure for men, it's also I'm not handsome enough, right, Aaron? Like how for many people, it's I'm too old, or I'm too young. I'm too young to be a leader, or I'm too old to date. So if this is you, also put yes, this is me into the comments. Sometimes we hear this, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to invest into myself. And the truth is, beloveds, when we do not invest into ourselves, we keep running on the same hamster wheel. And if you don't have enough time, that means you are not operating on your highest level of genius. Because when you are operating on the highest level of genius, life should have a possibility for you to have time for yourself, for your personal growth, development, rest, having fun, being playful. Like, for example, Aaron, right? I'm just going to give you this example. Aaron, I hope it's okay. So look, Aaron works on 15, 20 different events, retreats every year, or 15 countries, right? Something like that. Very sought for coach and teacher. And yet, what I also noticed that there is a possibility that Aaron has to really connect with himself and really take some time not to be constantly achieving something, but also to go inwards, to replenish, because that is the abundance mentality, not the scarcity mentality. Aaron, would you like to add something about you here?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always an opportunity to get to know ourselves more deeply. And, in this work and world that I live in, it's a constant inquiry inside of how can I expand, evolve, and grow as a facilitator, as a coach, as a lover, as a, business partner, and part of that is being able to see, okay, where are my shadows there? What are the things that I'm not seeing? And, what I see happen in relationships is a lot of people, like, they keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. They keep doing the same patterning. And, like, for me, what's supported my growth as a facilitator, my growth and expansion as a lover, is receiving feedback from those around me of what's working, what's not working. Oh, I want to change course a little. I want to find a new way here. I want to expand. Oh, this is a little uncomfortable. And yeah, I'm a little, okay, but I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here in my uncomfortability. So even if, like, staying on this call right now and continuing to listen to us, you're like, it's probably bringing up some patterns inside of you that's making you want to just turn it off and go watch Netflix, because that's easier and you don't have to actually pay attention. And again, fair enough, that's your choice, but it comes to a choice inside of saying, what am I really ready for? And if you're single and you want to attract a new partner and powerful being in your life, then it really is about rewiring the patterns that have gotten you to where you are so that you can clear that. And then energetically, you literally create more spaciousness to attract in more of what you want. But if you don't clear through the bullshit and the things from the past, then there's no space for new levels of love to enter. And I see this over and over and over and over again in the clients I work with. It's like, they're like, but Aaron, we keep doing sessions. We're just doing my inner work. I'm like, just trust. And then within, a week or two, they're like, you never guessed this person just came in my life and we're having this new magnetic thing. And I'm like, imagine that. Imagine that we cleared through some of the stuff in the past and someone new came in your life. Wow, like amazing. They're like, yeah, it's really, I didn't expect it to happen like that. Yeah, this is the way it works. So keep doing the inner work. Like, I can think of a lot of examples right now just in the past couple of months with clients, and they're, now have beautiful partners in their life that they didn't expect to be there, but they did the inner work of letting go of the old patterns and relationships to make space for the new.
Thank you so much for that. And we also discovered that once a person makes a decision, okay, I'm ready, I'm investing into myself, I'm worthy of that. That alone takes you to the next level. And also, of course, when you learn also techniques and tools, how to protect your heart and hold to your boundaries instead of merging with another person, then possibly a little bit of fear of actually being with someone can also go away. Because sometimes when we think, oh, I don't have enough time for that, that is also a cover up. We're kind of protecting ourselves also from failure or protecting ourselves from being strangled. But once you get the tools, once you know how to navigate that space of evolved, inspired relationships, then the whole new road opens and miracles start to happen. We see it all the time in our programs as well. Another disempowering belief, and mostly men have it, I am not smart enough. Okay, Aaron, you've probably encountered that, have you?
Yeah, there's a feeling of like, oh, I don't have enough skills. I'm not smart enough. They don't think I'm, this, that, and the other thing. And what I can say is anyone listening, like the fact you're even on this webinar, having this, capacity to learn more means that there's a part of you smart enough to know that you're smart enough to not know. And when you know that smart enough to not know, then you're smart enough to step into new possibilities. So a smart feeling comes from not necessarily knowing all the right words to say and the pickup lines to be there, but it comes with a humility and a humbleness that lets vulnerability be present. And there's a sexiness to that.
Wow. Okay, we're recording this because that needs to be a quote. Okay, amazing. Now, the next one is your relationship with love itself and your experience. So some of the disempowering beliefs could be love doesn't work for me, or I'm cursed, or I have bad luck with love. And of course, all of those beliefs are not helping you attract love. And the last one is some kind of belief about men or women. So women sometimes have a belief, oh, men are unreliable, or men are good for nothing, or men are going to hurt me. Men sometimes also have different kind of beliefs about women. Aaron, what have you encountered in your work?
Well, men, there's a lot of different nuances to it, but I think one of the feelings that come up for men is this feeling that women can't, hold all the different parts of them. And there's a feeling that comes up of feeling like they're walking on eggshells where, the woman is saying, I want to feel you more and feel you more. And then the man shares his feelings and then he gets judged and ridiculed. So it's like, there's this feeling that men say women, don't have a capacity to hold all of me. And so they step away and they lean away because they don't feel like they can be fully met in both their power as well as their vulnerability. And really, when a man's tenderness is respected and honored and seen, then it actually gives more space for his masculine clarity and precision and power to be revealed. But if his tenderness is judged and ridiculed, then he leans away, but because he's like, I can't be in my totality here.
Oh my God, that phrase alone, Aaron, I think that's a huge gift, and I want to say that this kind of thinking is very progressive, and it's not like men's tenderness was addressed for decades. And now we're coming into the age where men want to experience their feelings and express their feelings. And they're a little bit confused. They don't know because like, oh yeah, so she wants me to be vulnerable and tender, but when I am, she stops respecting me. So it is an interesting space to navigate. But as a disempowering belief, when we have this generic set negative idea about men or women and generalizing them all, that is also not helping you bring in that wonderful partner. So if you have any of those beliefs, If you've noticed that you had them before, you can choose not to have them. And of course, we are constantly working, helping people rewire those beliefs on a very deep level. Also, please put yes, that's me into the comments. Very fast, I want to take you through 3 archetypes of damaged love blueprint. And one of them is a wounded warrior. That's when we say, I don't need anyone. I don't need anything. I am totally okay by myself. Meanwhile, your inner child, your inner boy or inner girl is sitting somewhere and crying all alone while you're creating this armor, this front that yeah, I can do it all by myself. And this is really not inviting people into your space. So if that's you, please put yes into the comments. The next type is the savior. We talked about it before today, when you're overgiving, and there is this vampire who is kind of sucking your energy, and then you feel all disempowered, and then you start developing even more disempowering beliefs. The lonely child, and that comes from childhood trauma. You can see how this girl is in the red dress, and the red dress symbolizes love. And so maybe you remember this time when you were a small child and just wanted love and wanted to be loved. And meanwhile, there was this whole world of confusing adults, sometimes very hurtful. And so that gives us this imprint of being rejected and abandoned. And from those places, we start attracting the same kind of energy. So if you recognize yourself, whether you are in a man body or woman body, please put into the comments, yes, my love blueprint is damaged and I need a healing. So this is the source of trauma. We're not going to go deeply into that. I feel like we should probably be moving a little bit faster. So again, this diagram is about the movement, the evolution of a woman who is moving from princess to the sovereign queen. So on one hand, we have a shadow of the wounded Amazon. Again, and I just talked about it, the wounded Amazon with a shield, who is afraid of being vulnerable. And when you're afraid of being vulnerable, that does not inspire love, okay? There is a tendency to emasculate men, especially if you're a successful woman. So again, if this is one of you, if you feel like that's you, put yes, that's me into the comments. There is also a tendency to be impatient, to force things to happen, and to be obsessive. Another shadow of the princess. Okay. Another shadow of the princess is, again, the savior, feeling not good enough, overgiving, giving more than receiving, being afraid to express your truth, having weak boundaries, merging too fast, and oversharing, and creating idols just to be disappointed. So that is the shadow of the savior. And in our development, we are moving towards being the sovereign queen, magnetic woman, who has deserving mind, who has a balance of giving and receiving, who has adopted herself, who leads with her feminine just because it is so enjoyable and sexy, who holds strong and loving boundaries. Boundaries do not have to be unloving. It could be both strict and loving. And who is sexually magnetic, and who also designs her relationships based on her vision and her soul mission. So that is kind of like that evolution of a woman. And yeah, so maybe before I go into this for women, maybe Erin, you can cover a little bit this diagram, the journey from prince to the king.
Yeah, you know, the king, you're right there. You know, as you can see in this diagram, there's a confidence, there's a purpose inside of him. I see a lot of, you know, when you talk about kind of the lost soul, you know, you look at the weakling shadow, the insecure kind of man, just as the seaweed in the sea. There's a sexy attractiveness when a man is on purpose, and really not just on purpose that's bringing in money, but on purpose in the alignment to his soul, in the alignment to, he knows who he is, and he knows what he's here to create and to do and to be on this planet. And in that, he attracts just this tribe of beings around him, you know. And this was really just beautifully reflected to me. Just a few weeks ago, I turned 40, and I had a big birthday gathering with many friends in Bali. And I was there in the center, and I had all these different people, you know, reflecting this place. And they're like, I really see the kingdom that you've created around you with friends, with connections, with the work that you're doing. And it made me, I hadn't really reflected in that way. And I was like, wow, this directionality that I am leading in life, I feel this, and it feels exuding and expanding into more and more. And I've gone through these different areas where I wasn't trusting myself, and I had to find this place of who am I and how am I here to show up on the planet. And those times as a prince where I was like, hey, see me, I want to be seen, come on, I want to be seen. And like, there's a neediness in that, just as we talked about before. So moving through that place, the ambition is beautiful, but when the neediness masks the ambition, then that's also a part that gets, a distraction away. And on the other side of it, when there isn't a capacity to learn and grow, and there's just this tyrant that's like, I'm here, fucking see me, I'm here to show up. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like being blown away by a storm. It's like there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, and being overly controlling and being very judgmental and angry and abusive. And usually underneath that tyrant is just a little boy that's saying, love me, I've never been loved before, and I really want to just be loved, please just love me. And so when that, especially for men, when that little boy can be loved, honored, and adored, then something inside him grows up, and he's not seeking for validation anymore. He knows himself as whole. And when you know yourself as whole, then you attract other beings and the partner in your life who also knows herself as whole.
Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you so much for that. And I think that's very healing for everyone, for men and women. And I also want to say that this tyrant shadow is sometimes also called fake alpha, right? Yeah. Because, okay. So now what we've covered is what happens when you're magnetic, what happens when you're not. The reasons why the magnetism can be blocked. Deserving mind, undeserving mind, love blueprint. And we also covered the evolution of a woman from princess to a queen, and for a man from prince to the king. Now we are going to go into the bullets and cover everything that we've promised in the very beginning of this webinar. And a lot of it is going to be about more specific techniques, about magnetic communications, and the language that we use when we are more conscious and more powerful and more magnetic. So we are going to start with women, how to cut through a cutthroat competition for that attractive, successful, emotionally available man you want. And honestly, I so wish my students were here right now, and some of them actually probably are in this masterclass. But the reality is, we know that the way to cut through the competition is to feel that you are not a piece of flesh that is defined by your age or by amount of money in your bank or by your size, but rather that you are a unique piece of art. And when you are that unique piece of art with a great spirit, and when you really, really feel that you deserve this love, when you feel adorable, when you feel alive, that is what is going to make you stand out completely. When you communicate in a magnetic way, which is something we'll talk about soon, that also makes you stand out from a pretty boring standard head-to-head talking heads communication, and it's going to make you absolutely irresistible. Number two, how to turn your gorgeous feminine radiance that compels intelligent masculine men to eagerly pursue, no matter how much you weigh, like no matter your weight or how you look. Okay. So how do you turn that gorgeous feminine radiance? How do you turn it on? I work with it every day, honestly, and it is such a beautiful secret in some way. So first of all, when we work with the feminine, we need to look into your relationship with your mother, with your father. We need to look into the history of possibly even your ethnic group or your tribe. Like, what were those ideas about the feminine that you received? Sometimes a woman received this message that feminine is weak, or sometimes a woman would receive a message that having sexual desire is shameful, or that something is wrong with her body, or that coming in your full aliveness and radiance is not safe. So those messages also need to be purged and worked through. Sometimes also we accumulate bitterness, we accumulate grief, we accumulate anger in our body. So we need to go through practices which are called emotional release practices, which, by the way, Aaron and I just co-led in Spain recently. And you really need to work through the body in order to liberate the body from all of those memories, and to let the body become new, let the body become receptive to love. And so when those things happen, so first of all, the disempowering beliefs go away, negative self-talk goes away, the body releases its memories, which are not conducive, the emotions are being released, and you are reborn, and you get rid of toxicity in your life. That's when that inner lover comes out and starts to shine. And the truth is, I can tell you, I also work with men sometimes, and what they tell me is that they are attracted. What's the most attractive thing in a woman? And I'm sure that some people think, oh my God, maybe it's her breast, or maybe it's her legs. No, you know what it is? It's the twinkle in her eye. Okay, and the twinkle in her eye is her spirit. It's her aliveness. Okay, beloveds. All right. So the three traits that make, Aaron, I'm going to ask you to answer this question. The three traits that make an evolved man decide that you as a woman can be a great partner for him, so that he courts you and commits to you, giving you what you deserve. Okay, so what are they? I have my own version, but I want to hear from you too.
Yeah. So for me, the three traits that a man wants to see so that he knows that you can be a partner for him is that, one, you yourself have a very love and respect and appreciation for yourself. That's a really beautiful, sexy quality, because sometimes, for me, one of the things that I actually get really turned on by is when I see a woman that's not, covering herself in makeup and just like has this deep inner love for exactly who she is and is unapologetically like authentic. And that quality for me is like, oh, I can lean into that because I know who she is, and I celebrate that. The other quality that for me is a necessity is that she has her own inner masculine that knows how to hold her, like is able to lean in asking for support, but isn't always needing something from me. Like, I'm happy to be the provider and I love holding that energy and being the supporter, but I also want to know that she has that capacity within herself. She's able to, stand in the world on her own 2 feet and be strong and be clear, because then we can meet together, but isn't doing it in a way that's trying to overpower me. She's not doing it in a way that's like, oh, I need to show who the real alpha is in this relationship. That's just like, no thanks. Doing it in the way because she's being, again, 100% healthy and strong in who she is. And the third one that's a necessity is that she has a healthy, mature, emotional body. Meaning when upset happens in her, there aren't, dishes and things being thrown at me. There's a place where she's like, oh, I'm upset because whatever's going on, goes and does her emotional work, and then comes back into healthy, clear communication. When there's healthy, clear communication, my body relaxes because I know that it's being done after there's been emotional release based upon all the things that haven't been said, heard, and expressed. So healthy emotional body, inner masculine, and 100% authentically yourself are three traits that an evolved man needs.
How beautiful. Thank you so much, Aaron, for that. And, a lot of women actually are afraid to express their real needs or real feelings. They're afraid that they're going to seem needy. So we have an incredible method for that, which we call vulnerable share, which is something that you can learn, when you study with us, which allows you to fully, truly, deeply express your real authentic feelings and your needs, and at the same time only to get closer with the partner, just to establish even more intimacy. So thank you so much for that. I was pretty close. Deserving mind, clear vision, which is kind of a masculine trait, and feminine magnetism I came in with, which you didn't talk about, but I'm sure it is also part of it for sure, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, how to glow on the first date in a way that makes a man enraptured and captivated by your presence, and how to make commitment in a natural, easy thing. Okay. So let's first talk about how to glow on the first date, how to glow in general. And here, maybe I can also right away talk about that special language that all people use, and how do we come in? How do we come in and how do we meet each other? How do we create the sacred meeting, which enlightens everyone, which just brings in more light, whether this person is a match for you or not? So the first thing about this special language, it's a language of presence. And what it means is that when we are with each other, we're not looking at the cell phone, we're not thinking about something else. We are fully present with each other, with our breath, we're present with our body, and we are definitely present with the person that we are talking with. Not only we're present in our mind, but we're also present in our heart. And we come from the place of unconditional love for every being, including this being. And also we come from a place of deep understanding that we are on the same path. And our path, beloveds, is the path of oneness. That's why we are the soul family. We are not here. We didn't come together to take from each other. We didn't come together to overpower each other. We have the common goal, and our common goal is love. So when we come from that place, that's when the miracle of meeting each other soul to soul happens. So Aaron, what do you what do you have to say on this?
Well, the glowing aspect that a woman can bring in is when she's in her divine feminine radiance, when she's just the embodiment of radiance that exudes from within her. It's a place where she's in her fluidity, she's in her naturalness. There's a curiosity, there's an aliveness that's vibrating inside. It's what attracts men who don't really know as much of that feminine energy inside of themselves. They're attracted to that glowing, vibrant, alive feminine because, you know, there's a part of them that's like, oh, I don't know that in me. I want to see that in them. And then they see it and there's an attractiveness and there's this enrapture. It's like, I don't know what it is about you, but I just want to spend time with you. You know, and there's a beauty to that, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes that glow is utilized in manipulative nature with men, and that's where it turns into the shadow. So I want to feel that glow, but I want to feel that glow not in the sense of a woman's just doing that so she can get something from me. When I feel that, I'm like, oh, I want to feel that because she's so in love with who she is and how she celebrates her energy in the world and the radiance that exudes from her heart. You know, in a tantric perspective, the positive pull from the heart chakra for a woman is that's her positive pull. It's from her breasts. It's from that part that just walks into the room and says, hey, see me, I'm here. It's like, yeah, you are. Oh, I'm excited now. This is beautiful. And there's an attractiveness to that. Like, don't shy away. I see this whole thing of, you know, and I get it. Like with Me Too, with, you know, women feeling like they're suppressed and oppressed and they're abused and they can't bring that energy. But the tying connection to this is that when you're in your glowing energy, and if a man meets you at any level of being, you know, not abusive, but not respecting that, that's when you pull out your masculine sword and you say, fuck off, that's not welcome here. And you have very clear boundaries. So then your glow isn't dependent upon how it's received by the external masculine. Your glow is an internal game that's being expressed because you know your own inner union from within. And then there's like, there's space. I can lean into that because I'm not needing to be some man that is having all these expectations of who I need to be, rather than oh, we can co-create eternity. We can co-create existence together.
Thank you so much for that. And that leads us also into the next question about commitment. And I just want to add just a little bit on top of just a little bit of fairy juju dust on what Erin said so eloquently, is that when we come in from pleasure, not from pressure. And so when a woman comes in from that place, from the place of now, from the place of breathing, from the place of feeling pleasurable in who she is, that is very magnetic. And that is what attracts so much, because it's also that mystery, women, that you have, that mysterious connection to your own raw nature, and then want to know it. They want to go deeper with that. So as we flow into the topic of commitment, I loved what Erin said, co-create eternity together, because the truth is, the question that arises right now for many people who, don't have to depend on another person financially, very often is like, what are we about? Why should we be together? What is this about? We don't have to be relying on each other financially pretty much anymore. So, and obviously being together most likely will require some kind of compromises, some kind of negotiation. So the benefit of that and the sense of that has to be much bigger, and it has to be obvious. And the question is, again, starts from what we talked about in the beginning. What are we co-creating? Why does it make sense for the universe, for us to be together? And our clients are co-creating all kinds of things, maybe doing fundraising together, maybe creating events together, maybe building a beautiful house to invite guests into, maybe co-creating music, whatever that is. When that is happening and that becomes this force of cohesiveness between people, and it just becomes obvious, yeah, of course we're committed. We have this whole thing, the whole universe that we're building. We have so much to share. It just makes sense for us to be together. And Erin, what is your feeling about this? How to make a commitment natural, easy, transitioning into a lifelong partnership?
Well, this is I'd say this is a bonus special tip that I think when women can understand this piece, everything changes. So for a man, I think for a lot of beings, the place of the masculine, not all of us, tends to be a bit more of the freedom lover. There's the masculine energy loves the many, whether it's monogamy, polyamory, whatever it is, there's still an energy of the many. The feminine energy really loves the commitment, the coming together, the lifelong partnership, and all of that. And so for what women to understand is, for a man to transition into that lifelong partnership, what's a necessity is that a part of you actually is courting his feminine energy more than his masculine energy. Because if that feminine energy in the man feels seen, heard, validated, and recognized, then she's like, oh my God, I'm seen. And I really want to be in this relationship because this is where I can find and experience deeper love. So this is a little subtle nuance inside of this. And people listening may or may not get this, but if you really want that lifelong partnership and committed relationship connection, that comes from really the feminine kind of nurturing body that just wants to huddle down and be with one. Like if I feel into my own inner union, my masculine is a freedom loving explorer of the world that teaches globally. My feminine just wants to be on land and make babies and build gardens. That's where she's happy. So I know for myself in the partnership that I'm drawing in, like I'm being present to both of that. And really where deep committed relationship, and it happened in my last relationship, which was beautiful. It was really from a place of her, my partner at the time, meeting and celebrating and meeting that feminine energy and saying, you're welcome here as well. And then it was like, oh, I could relax into that space.
Thank you so much, Erin, for that. Thank you. Wow, that was very deep. Beautiful. All right. So now for men, and by the way, if you are a woman on this webinar, I just want to tell you that we have something else coming up for you, which is we are going to talk about our ecstatic dating movement. which allows people who are evolved to really meet each other in a whole new way. And so this is so juicy and so exciting. And if this is the time for you to go, because I understand we're going a little bit over time, I want to tell you that you can book a chat with us, just a 15-minute chat. There is zero obligations, just a chat on the phone with one of our team members to discuss how you can learn all of this. And you can go to the website lubaevans.com/chat, and you can set an appointment with us where you're going to find out about your own blocks of magnetism. And you can also start discovering your own magnetic superpower. You can also discover what could be the next step for you to start creating that incredible, inspiring partnership, to be a part of the love revolution, the part of ecstatic dating, and a part of the army of angels and army of people who are not going to settle for less, who are going to take nothing but absolute, amazing, beautiful, extraordinary love, and who are the guardians of love on this planet. So lubaevans.com/chat. Go ahead and book a 15-minute call with us, and we'll see if we can help. Most likely we can, but we're going to tell you exactly what we see. Also, if somebody right here wants to set up this call, you can also raise your hand, and our assistant program coordinator, Dashira, is going to reach out to you and schedule that call with you. So it's lubaevans.com/chat. And I want to tell you that we are only going to give 15 of those calls because we just add capacity this week. So please go ahead. There are many people who are watching this, and we would love for you to have this opportunity to talk about yourself, the best 15 minutes you can spend. All right, so it's lubaevans.com/chat. Meanwhile, let's go back. And Aaron, the floor is yours for men, how to create a powerful masculine charisma that draws women's eyes and hearts to you without you having to say a thing. Okay.
So I don't need to say anything. I'm just going to stare at the screen and give that to you.
Great. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, power and charisma is an inner essence. It's a place of, as I've been saying this whole webinar, of deeply knowing thyself, of knowing the gifts that you bring into any dynamic. And, you know, it's a different place from arrogance of like, oh, I'm so great, look at me, and just a quiet, calm, centered, present self. Because what does draw women in is when they can feel that you're 150% present with them. And that presence, basically, there's some signaling that happens in the female brain that's like, he's present with me now. That probably means that he can be present with me in all my chaos. And if he can be present with me in all my chaos, then I'm kind of curious to find out more. And so the opportunity here in this charisma is this alluring nature that's coming from the heart, that's like stepping forth, that's slightly penetrative, that's giving a little bit of a feeling of, ooh, who is this guy? What's going to happen here? I don't quite know. And it's not doing so much where you reveal yourself so completely right away, but it's enough where she feels safe to surrender into you. And so when she feels safe to surrender into you, it's like, I want to find out more about this man. And this interaction of everything I just communicated can happen in 5 seconds. That can happen because the amount of things that are moving on the subtle energetic level when a man just shows up, there's a softening. And I've seen this happen many times, especially men that I've worked with, that can begin to notice these subtle places and then lean in. And it's not like they're leaning in and saying, I'm going to fuck you now. It's more of a leaning in and you're here. Like, I'm here. It's safe to let go. It's safe to be in your everythingness here. I can hold that. And as a woman feels that energetic, then what the result is she's like, I don't know what it is about you, but I want to share more. I want to talk more. And that capacity is also in deep listening. So deep listening means that you're actually listening. You're not thinking about the next thing you want to say. It means there's a curiosity that's alive in what you're observing. And huge piece is that there's no agenda. When a woman feels agenda in your eyes, in your direction, in your penetration, she's like, there's no space for me here because all I feel is all the things that you need to get from me. So men, drop the fucking agenda, let go of the place that's trying to get something from them. Know pleasure inside yourself, because when you know pleasure inside yourself, when you experience from the radiance of the woman, it's coming from the overflow. It's not coming from the needy little boy inside that's saying, please love me, love me, love me. So those are some tips and factors to help around the charisma and the being powerful and exuding that space. The next one around looks and money, the magnetic attractiveness, these points I was just saying, is that when a woman feels safe and she feels heard, she wants to talk and share so much. It's like there's a waterfall that gets released that just says, oh my God, I'm actually being heard here. And in that, she doesn't care what he looks like, how much money is there. It doesn't matter, because there's a quality of presence that brings in an attractiveness that lets her be in her feminine radiance and isn't being judged, ridiculed, blamed, or shamed. So that is really taking that over from what I just shared before. That first step is deep quality listening. That doesn't matter. Some people, and actually, I think people with more money lose that capacity sometimes, not all the time, but it's like there's this place of thinking that, oh, I have all of this wealth and money and looks, that leaves no space to unravel the feminine mystery. And if the feminine doesn't feel like she can unravel into a mystery, it might be attractive for a night, but it's never going to be long lasting because there's no space for her there. So that would be the first step, is quality deep listening in that. And the second step in this is owning your own wealth. It's owning the gifts that you do have. I see a lot of men that are constantly comparing themselves to others. He has this is there. I'm looking at social media. I don't have the biceps. I don't have the six pack. I don't have this. Like I'm in decent shape, but I don't have a perfect body. But I know I can walk into any room with any quality woman in the space and attract any one of them to be a partner, to be a connection. And that has very little to do with my physical good lookingness. It has to do with the charisma and the presence that I bring into that quality in that conversation. When I was able to learn that at a young age, it supported this massive expansion into understanding human behavior and those pieces. So the number two piece is really owning deeply and completely the wealth and attractiveness and vibrational alignment that you do bring in. And if you need support with that, then that's also where, we're here to support and guide you along the way. And this last secret to projecting your true value is knowing that own inner wealth. And when you're bringing in that place, there's a receptivity, because it's like, oh, this man is confident. He's clear. What happens in that moment? A woman's ovaries, whether or not she's still, ovulating, and whether or not, she's whatever stage she's at in life, that feminine part of her that's still alive, whether babies can be made, is like, oh my God, I can trust this man. He's confident, he's clear, and I could have babies with him. And again, it doesn't matter if you still can have that or not. It's a deep inner feeling that's embedded inside the female body. And so when you're projecting that value into it, and it comes from an authentic, intuitive space, not a place of trying to prove your ego and your wealth, then that's felt, and that there's an attractiveness that can be received from the woman in that way.
Aaron, just listening to you speak about that inspires me to breathe out. Yeah. And I also want to say that there are children of the body and children of the mind. So one of the things is also something relaxes in you as a woman when you feel like, yeah, I am fully received here. And I want to say that many of my students and clients, when they go on a date with someone for the first time, they complain that the man kept talking about himself. And of course, when you have a deserving mind, according to our methodology, at a certain point, you say, okay, well, this would be a good time to talk about me, or for you to ask me some questions. I would really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes a man can take that hint if he was just nervous. But sometimes it's just very difficult for many men to really shift from that agenda of love me, I'm this, I'm that, and to come into that place where he can really see her. And women really want to be seen and really want to be heard. So this is definitely something that will make you stand out a lot. Okay, beloved. So again, I just want to say that if you haven't yet booked a 15-minute chat with us to see how all of those techniques and wonderful teachings can work for you in order for you to attract that wonderful partner and build this visionary, inspired, empowering, nurturing relationship, please put lubaevans.com/chat into your browser and set a 15-minute chat with us to see if possibly we can be sailing together, helping you get to that beautiful destination together with our captain, of course, and who I'm sure is a great navigator. And in fact, he's an awesome navigator. As I said, I worked with Aaron in physical space, and this was so beautiful. So lubaevans.com/chat. And we'll see where to direct you. We'll see how to help you in the best possible way. And so the last thing for us to share is actually ecstatic dating, of course, is very, very important, because that is really the only easy opportunity for evolved beings to truly meet each other, as opposed to be wasting a lot of time on dating apps, which attract a lot of very materialistic people, or people without real soul purpose. So we are bringing in this knowledge into the world and creating spaces for people to come in and to meet each other in very enlightened ways. And some of those ways are a combination of coaching, matchmaking, and an exotic vacation. So I'm just planting the seed here for a moment. And if you're interested in that, also go to lubaevans.com/chat and set a 15-minute call with us, lubaevans.com/chat. And the last teaching is for men, how to spot the women in their room. Aaron, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So, men, when you're scanning the room, it's noticing first what women make eye contact, and if they make eye contact, is it just like a short eye contact that is kind of looking away because you're too intense and scary? Or is it an eye contact that creates a receptivity? Is there a curiosity? And some of the subtle energetics in this space is when you do make eye contact, do you notice her body move in any particular way? Is there a place of like, oh, I like the way he's looking at me. Oh, this is interesting. And then in that, do you look away, or do you, it's not like you need to maintain this intense eye gazing place. It's just like, there's a flirtation, there's a dancing that's happening, there's a curiosity that's happening even before words are spoken. And what that means is when I feel this energy, then it's even easier for me to go up to someone and just say hi, like I see you, like what's your name? It doesn't need to be some exotic pickup line, oh my God, you've fallen from the sky, heaven is in your eyes, whatever it may be. I mean, that was pretty good. That came out of nowhere. But when you already feel that there's a vibration and a connection, and then many women, when they feel that, they feel like they've already given you the signals. They're like, come on, dude, come fucking talk to me. We've already made eye contact. You can tell I'm interested. And a lot of men in that place are like, oh, no, she didn't come talk to me. I'm going to walk away. It's like, be the initiator. And when you already feel this place, that means that you're not just going up completely, empty to someone and just trying to do some pickup thing, because it might work, but it might just make you feeling awkward and rejected and then losing hope in all of this. So it's really like a soft inner knowing. And I can be in any room and just scan and just see and just start to read these subtle energetic body languages. So you're making eye contact, you're seeing how her body responds when eye contact happens. And then when you feel like there's a space, it's just like opening up and saying, hi, like, you're beautiful. I'd love to get to know you more. Like, what's your name? I'm curious about you. I feel something moving here. And then that opens a place for more invitation, opens a place for curiosity, and this really goes into these secret gaps in the vibe, the body language, and the energy that might be scaring away the best women. Because if you're not present, and you've had too many drinks and you're just kind of flopping all over the place, then a woman's like, just not really all that interested. She wants to know that you can be there through whatever is arriving through, and you're going to continue to maintain presence and awareness. And what happens is the body language for men that aren't feeling confident and clear inside is they start looking away, and they're looking at the floor. They take out their phone and they're like, oh, it's easier looking here, instead of actually like maintaining what's being called for here. So really, phone use, especially, I think, in a dating environment, it's like if you're out at a date and you start looking at your phone, and there's not a conversation about why you're doing that, that's the most unattractive thing that's there. And I find that the same. Like, if I'm, interacting with someone and they find the phone more interesting than me, it's like, okay, I'm probably then going to walk away and just say, well, this isn't happening here. Let's just call this before it takes any farther. I'm calling them into presence. I'm calling them into a place that I'm holding inside myself. So the secret gaps between the body language and the vibe is in knowing yourself and knowing where you're leaning into and where you're leaning away from, and how you can actually long to create more connection. If the intention inside is, how can I create more connection, then even if there is awkwardness and you feel awkward, sometimes it's even okay naming that. You're like, wow, it's extremely attracted to you, and that's making me feel really uncomfortable inside. And sorry about that. A woman's like, oh, wow, there's a humility, there's a vulnerability, there's something to meet from that space. It's not like a penetrative action that doesn't leave spaciousness to play. And that's really what wants to happen in connection, is spaciousness to play. So, in this last piece, the bonus around the invisible language that these women are speaking when they're, ready to take the next step. This invisible language is the invisible energetics, and the way that we begin to know our invisible energetics for a man, and this is such a huge piece, is that these energies inside of yourself. The subtle places of what it's like to feel soft, of what it's like to feel tenderly, of what it's like to be receptive. Because if you're only penetrating the world as a man, then this invisible language isn't even heard, because this invisible language is a subtle receptivity that happens. And for me as a man, if I know my receptivity inside, then I can start to see it inside of the women I'm interacting with. And this is one of the really important pieces that I find when men come together with men, then they can start to expand and increase this awareness of the subtle energetics. And then from that place, when they interact with women, then they're not going to feel rejected because they know themselves as whole. A lot of men are afraid of interacting because they're not knowing how to be receptive in what either happens as deemed good or bad, and they're afraid of outcome. So because of that fear of outcome, they're not taking action, and they're not taking action. Women don't see them as confident, and then they don't feel themselves as confident. And then it's just a spiraling down, 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 down. So a lot of pieces there, hopefully that will support both the men and the women who are listening here.
For sure. And thank you so much for this wisdom, Aaron. And it also feels like this receptivity is also about seeing, is she letting me in? Is there an invitation? Is that softening? Is there an invitation? Maybe it will show up as her eye pupils become a little bit larger, or maybe she's going to start breathing a little bit deeper. Maybe her body is going to be a little bit more relaxed or even more playful. And that also could be the signal that, she, like, I'm curious about her, and she wants to share more of herself. And so, I love that. I love that when men get together, they can train that. That gives us a lot of hope, that as opposed to men who are just going for something no matter what, or just being scared, there is this middle ground, this amazing middle ground of this sensual communication and dialogue. And that, by the way, is also the language that we can speak as evolved people. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, beloved. So again, if you would like to speak about and find out what your magnetism blockers are, or what is your magnetic superpower, or what it can be, and how to meet those evolved people, you're welcome to schedule a call with us, lubaevans.com/chat. And I want to tell you that those 15 minutes will be just luminous, just brilliant. And you're going to enjoy every moment of that, whether you're coming with us to one of our journeys somewhere, or whether you just want to also inquire or about the coaching programs and other things that we offer. Definitely set a call with us. 15 minutes is something that can absolutely change your life and bring in that incredible partner into your life. So let's talk for a moment about ecstatic dating movement. And ecstatic dating movement originated from really, really deeply knowing, working with people so much and knowing how difficult it is and how challenging it is to meet people on your level, people who are into growth, people who want to take responsibility for their lives, their destiny, their feelings, people who are willing to open up to learn how to come into intimacy, how to become those passion catalysts for each other, how to be on purpose, how to co-create together. So, the truth is, this is kind of like this spiritual royal crown of the world. And it's hard to go on Tinder or to go on Match or to go whatever app and just find people like that. So that created an idea to bring this gift to the world, which is the ecstatic dating movement. And ecstatic dating movement is about local events which are coming into different cities, as well as retreats and international retreats that we are holding for people like that who want to meet each other from this heart space, and who want to also show up in different aspects of themselves, and to really get curious and to really know each other so much deeper than you can know each other on some awkward blind date. And so some of the techniques that we use is to show up in your royalty, show up in your masculine, show up in your feminine, show up as a sexy soul, show up actually even as your inner child or as your shadow. And so we have these amazing practices that allow people to see each other and to interact and play with each other in this sacred space. And so if you're interested to learn how it can work for you, again, set a conversation with us, lubaevans.com/chat. And the last thing that I want to tell you, beloveds, okay, I already said, you'll see what's blocking your magnetism, what's a magnetic superpower, your soulmate GPS, the place where your soulmate is waiting for you. Okay, so let's talk about that place. So the next retreat that we have coming up is going to be in Costa Rica, and it's going to be from May 1st to May 6th. where we are bringing in evolved men and women together to this beautiful exotic location where we're combining coaching, matchmaking, and vacation. And so honestly, I don't know what can be better than that. Erin, would you like to add anything about that?
No, I mean, I think the place where people can come in their beautiful, unapologetic self to learn, to grow, to play, to be on the beach in Costa Rica, to meet, beautiful, amazing, epic humans, to potentially meet the love of your life, and, whatever you meet, really get to know yourself more deeply. And that's really the gift of what this retreat is. It's an ecstatic dating event where you can have a beautiful opportunity to meet a lot of different individuals. And through all of those meetings, get to know more and more of who you really are in moving ahead in your life as a partner, in the bedroom, in the boardroom, in all areas of life. But this really is about dating others, but dating yourself in a way that will expand and evolve who you are on the planet.
Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. To also coming into your absolutely most magnetic, most attractive version, embodied version of yourself. And yeah, that's a great question, by the way. Like, would you date yourself? Like, this is a great question to ask yourself. Okay, beloved. So if you haven't yet set the chat with us, I want to just go over some things that might be going through your head. I'm too busy, I'm too old, I'm overweight, I'm in the middle of nowhere, I lost sexual desire, I feel completely invisible, and I'm not sure if I even want a partner. So I just want to tell you that we had people who came in who are CEOs of gigantic corporations. They don't have time. Our techniques are so fast, so cathartic. We are so used to working in cathartic space that the transformation that we bring in is really immediate. And honestly, we don't have a license to lose as therapists. So we can really come in. We can really come in with very powerful, strong practices that will allow you to become the most magnetic version of yourself really, really fast. Usually, like in our programs on week 2, and just like Aaron was talking about his clients, transformation already happens, and you start seeing a different reaction from the world. And if I'm too old, we already talked about that at 70, 75, 80, you can be so vibrant like an old wine. Really, it's not about how old you are, it's about how much you have left of vibrant life. Okay, so not just how much you have left, but how much you have left of vibrancy. And sometimes an 80-year-old person can be so much more vibrant than a 20-year-old, honestly. And I know some people like that too. I'm overweight. Okay, so maybe that is something that you love. Maybe that is something that is protecting you based on some kind of other beliefs or patterns. Uncovering your inner lover is something that happens in all of our coaching and programs. And sometimes, and it happens in our work, and I'm going to show you somebody who actually lost weight during this whole transformation, because you start loving yourself. So in our programs, we have a slogan, love it or fix it. And so you will either love it and fall in love with all of you, or you're going to be empowered to fix it. I live in the middle of nowhere. All right. We have events everywhere. I lost sexual desire. Okay. Should I say it will come back? Most likely. Most likely it will come back. When you see so many juicy, sexy souls and, passing on this initiation to each other, and you come into embodied practices and unlock your shame, unlock stagnant energies, release any kind of sexual shame, most likely you will come back to the sexual desire. I feel invisible. We already addressed that. So start feeling visible, feeling magnetic. I'm not sure if I even want a partner. Well, again, when you have good boundaries, strong vision, you can really design the kind of relationship that you want. It doesn't have to be a conventional relationship. Some of our people have different types of creative forms of different relationships. Okay, so we can also discuss that. So there are some people here who acquired the feminine magnetism. Those are specifically for the feminine, who got amazing, great partners, and I'm very, very happy with each other. Let me see, I think, okay, by the way, this one example, how one woman really, uncovered her inner lover in the program and got married to a guy that she calls her rock. This is a woman who went from being with attracting narcissists to an incredible hot, passionate partnerships when these guys are creating music events, and this guy's from Cuba. So they are organizing Cuban musicians and having so much fun for the first time in her life. And there are so many, by the way, this woman is also of interesting age, and look at her and how she changed, and her magnetism just skyrocketed. And she's looking, as Marilyn Monroe once she acquired that feminine magnetism and had the hottest, time and the best sex in her life after 70. I mean, I'm just saying, all possible, all amazing. Okay, beloved. So this is pretty much it. So if you want to, for your life to transform, you already know what to do. And I just want to say, Aaron, thank you so much for this incredible time and so many insights and this plethora of wisdom and incredible energy that you bring in. And this is actually a moment, and we have 31 people here now. And this, beloveds, is that moment when we're going to take several questions. And meanwhile, let me just also type in.
I do need to step away here in just probably a minute or two. I have another thing I have to get to.
Okay, beloved. So no problem. I'm going to answer 3 questions. I mean, we went over time for sure, but thank you so much. And we hope to see you very, very soon. Okay. So if there are any questions, please put them into the chat here. And as I said, I'm going to take 3 questions, the first 3, and then we're going to close this webinar. I think it's been going on for 2 hours already. Yeah, we're planning to do it in 1 hour, but okay. All right. So if there are any questions, please put them into the chat. Questions and answers. I see. Okay, great webinar. How much is the retreat? So first of all, you need to set, thank you for asking, by the way, the retreat is very affordable, but also you need to set up this 15-minute call so that we determine if the retreat is the right thing for you to do, or whether you need to be prepared for the retreat, or maybe something else could be the right thing for you. Also, this is not the only retreat that we're going to be running, and possibly you would want to do some work on yourself before you come to the retreat, or maybe just the retreat. So you really need to talk to us. But seriously, the retreat is super affordable. Aaron made sure of that. Yeah, Aaron wanted to make it very, very affordable. I think actually the retreat is so severely underpriced, honestly. And next time, I think, Aaron, we should triple the price. Seriously.
No, I get it. I get it.
Text messages will be sent to everyone, beloveds. Okay, so that's great. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? So if you have any questions, like, I guess it's going to be one more question, and that's it.
And yeah, for anyone listening as well, if there's any other questions you have specifically for me, my name is just my website, aaronkleinerman.com. Feel free to send me any message. But I'm very excited for this creation with Luba. It feels like 2 beautiful, strong minds. Thank you for all your wisdom and your gifts and all the work you're doing on this planet. Very grateful for you, and I'm very excited to co-create with you down in Costa Rica. Thank you, beloveds, for your time. Hopefully you gained some insight and wisdom from our masterclass and journey here tonight, and look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thank you so much, Luba.
Yeah, beautiful, Aaron. It was so good to see you. And thank you. I know you just flew into Mexico, and you should probably,
Yeah.
Rest
Thank you so much.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. I was not able to see the 15-minute chat on the website. Try this link. Okay. So let me see if there is anything else here. If there is anybody else here, let me take a look. So we have attendees here. I wonder if there are any hands. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. I see seems like there is one question, but maybe Dashira, you can help me with that if there is anybody who has anything, but if not, okay. All right, so the last thing, my finishing words to you, to the world. The mystery of love is endless. we can't demystify that. We need to treat love with great respect and reverence. And love is the most important thing on earth. Love is what makes your eyes shine. Love is a state of mind. Love is a state of the body, energetic, shamanic state, which attracts more love. And if you want to invite more love into your life, whether you're a man or a woman, or you're undefined, it doesn't matter. What matters is when you become love, truly pure love, love comes. When you become love, you attract people anywhere you go. You know why? Because love is irresistible. And I'm going to leave you with that, beloveds. And hopefully I will see you either on one of our trainings or at the retreat or one of the events that we are running. It was beautiful to have you with us. I'm going to close the webinar now. And of course, if you want to share this webinar, we're going to send you a link to the recording. And if you would like to share this webinar with your friends, we'd really appreciate it, because ecstatic dating is a global movement that we're calling in all of our soul family, and we want everyone to benefit. Good night, everyone. And with this, I'm going to close this space. Okay. And if anybody has to say anything, put it into the chat. And it's going 1, and it's going 2, and it is going 3. And good night, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.